Yo, welcome back to Trashman MMA, where we talk about everything MMA related. And today, as you see on the screen, we are talking about no other than UFC Fight Night Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. Let's fucking get right into it, bro. I mean, this is a banging card. Like, hold on, let me open my window. It's a little dark in my room right now, chat. Let me open this bitch up. There we go. Some fucking sunlight up in this bitch. All right. All right, but yeah, like I was saying, what a fucking card, dude. This card is so freaking stacked. Garry versus Prates. All right, Future versus Nightmare. The death of Anthony Smith is only rank 15. I did not know that. But anyways, Anthony Smith versus Mingyang Zhang. The death of Anthony Smith is incoming. Imminent and incoming. There's nothing we can do about it. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. A pretty banging fight. Pretty dope fight. We seen Yusuf Zalal in Onama's corner at the ceremonial weigh-in. So maybe Onama's gonna, he's a runner, he's a track star, whatever. Then we got Michel Pereira versus Abu Smagomedov. The battle of gas tanks on E, bro. I don't know how to put that other than fucking gas tanks on E, dude. I mean, I'm basically looking at my car on 7 miles of gas versus 10. You know, both infamous for having terrible gas tanks, and it is what it is. On to the next one, Rude Boy Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. This is a tough one for my boy. I've been a Rude Boy fan. People don't know this, but I've been a Rude Boy fan. Low key got robbed. Obviously, you don't have to listen to me say. Everybody says it, but low key got robbed against freaking Brian Battle. Hold on, let me take a sip. Low key got robbed against fucking Brian Battle. But, we ain't going to talk about that too much. Then we got Ikram Alascaro versus Andre Muniz. Ikram Alaskarov. I think they've tried to make this fight like 3 times. Because I feel like this isn't the first time that I've heard about this fight being in the making. Yeah. Yeah. First fell through. Why exactly did it fall through? Muniz withdrew. Okay. What about the second time? Muniz passport issue. Oh, okay. I remember that one recently. Wait, where was that at again? I feel like I remember that. Oh, no. No, I must be thinking about a different one. Anyways, yeah, this is like the third time that they're trying to make this fight. So hopefully, even though it's only 1 day left to go, hopefully nothing fucking happens. This fight literally seems to be cursed. Then down on the prelims, we have Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. Bowl cut Jimmy Flick, dude. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Damon Blackshear versus Antahel Ala Tengeheli. I think that's how you pronounce it. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Come on, bro. Chat. Real ones know this one. The real ones know this one is a banger. Real ones fucking know this is a banger. Jacqueline Amorin versus Pauliana Viana. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. Chelsea Chandler. Again, I'm not the first one to make this joke, but fucking Michael Chandler's sister. Jocelyn Edwards. Leon Edwards' sister. These are fucking easy pickings. But let's get on to it. Those are all the fights. Let's start with Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards versus Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler literally just runs away. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, dude, I fucking watched every Chelsea Chandler fight and Jocelyn Edwards fight, dude. They're both fucking banger women's fighters. I think I've watched 2 Jocelyn Edwards fights. But she had a pretty decent performance in her last fight. I forgot who it was against, but hold on. Let me pull this up. Stay with me. I remember her having in her last. I believe she's coming off 2 wins. If I'm not mistaken. 1 win. Oh, Eileen Perez. That's right. Okay. Tamariz Vidal. I remember this fight. I just remember her winning. I don't remember actually watching the fight, but she's 5-4 in the UFC, 5 KO wins, 4 submissions, 5 decisions. Whereas Chelsea Chandler is 6-3, 2 wins by KO, 1 win by submission, 3 by decision, 2-2 in the UFC. She is Yana Santos, Josiana Nunez, Norma Dumont, and Julius Stoliarenko. Neither of her 2 wins are remotely impressive. And Jocelyn Edwards went to a unanimous decision with Eileen Perez. I kind of forget how that fight went. I remember Eileen Perez twerking at one point. That's all I remember from the fucking fight. If you ask me to remember anything else, yeah, fucking put a gun to my head, bro. I don't remember shit. But, I mean, look at this. Like, come on. There's nothing here, you know? There's nothing here. 3-3. I just think Jocelyn Edwards will be able to get it done. You know, her like fucking low output, fucking tit for tat style. You know, against the Chelsea Chandler, who just seems like a wrestler. You know, she has the frame of a wrestler, the build of one. Yeah, I'm going Jocelyn Edwards by. Let's go third round TKO. Just unanswered shots. Chelsea Chandler just like kind of covering up, but you know, on her feet, but just up against the fence. Can't really get away. Jocelyn Edwards doing a good job at cutting off Chelsea Chandler's foot movement, keeping her back against the. Oh my gosh, I need to mute my fucking phone. So I'll go Jocelyn Edwards third round TKO. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. I'm not picking Roberto. Oh, that's for a different video. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go to. What the fuck is this weight discrepancy? What the fuck? Is Jocelyn Edwards coming down a weight? We already moved on. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. Timmy Kwamba. I'm not picking Timmy Kwamba to win a fight. Roberto Romero. I remember him. Clearly not, but I feel like I should remember him. He's Mexican. Was he like one of the Mexicans that they just brought in on like short notice to the Sphere or something? David Onama. That was his first fight in the UFC. Unanimous decision. I hear he gave him a scrap. I can't really remember it. I have a really bad memory, but I'm not picking Timmy Kwamba to win a fight. Plain and simple. I just don't know. I'm not picking this guy to win a fight, and he has yet to win a fight in the UFC. So yeah, I'll go Roberto Romero by first round KO. I think he could get it done. Yeah, I think he could get it done. All right, on to the next fight. Jacqueline Amorim versus Poliana Viana. A lot of people are saying Jacqueline Amorim is the easy pick. Poliana Viana just baddie maxing, you know? Plain and simple. She's just baddie maxing. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I don't fucking watch either of these guys. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? You actually want me to... Like, I guess Viana's pretty old. She's 32 compared to 29. She's 2 inches taller. She has an inch reach discrepancy, an inch reach disadvantage. But, I mean, an inch reach isn't really anything. One's 4-6. Like, why are people saying so heavily that Jacqueline Amorim is gonna win this fight? I don't get it. 7 wins by submission. Vanessa Demopoulos, Corey McKenna, Montserrat Con Conejo Ruiz, Sam Hughes. Fucking hell, dude. Sam Hughes. Sam fucking Hughes, dude. I mean, oh, they're both Brazilian. Paula Viana. Fuck yeah, I'll just go with the crowd, bro. I'll let my hive mind take control. Sure, I'll go Jacqueline Amorim. She seems to have a good idea of what to do on the ground. Uh, Striking doesn't seem that bad either. You know, it seems like she don't really rely on her hands, but she got hands if she needs to use them. What the fuck is this picture? What is this picture? This is just like the most like non-fight man. Triangle choke by Yasmin Lucindo. Veronica Hardy's putting you in an arm bar. Julian Robertson is finishing you. Yeah, that was embarrassing, dude. I can't believe I picked her to win. Ugh, disgusting. And Juliana Robertson is 12-8, bro. Ugh. Oh, my brother's just getting here. Yeah, I'll go Jacqueline Amorim. Fuck. Hopefully they don't come in my room, dude, because I do not know how to stop these videos. Uh, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. I'll go. I wanted to watch Malcolm Wellmaker's of Dana White Contender Series fight again because it's been a while since I watched that. I watched it live. I don't remember his performance all too much. I remember his name, I remember his face and everything, but I don't remember his performance. Uh, Cameron Simon, obviously, coming off of two not brutal losses, but one brutal loss against Peyton Talbot, who we've seen just completely get wrestle fucked by like a 50-year-old man. Uh, Malcolm Wellmaker, he is older than Cameron Simon by like 3 years, I want to say. Cameron Simon's pretty young. He's like, I know Wellmaker's 30. Damn, he's 30. He's 30 and he looks like 22. Where's the age at? Where's the age at? Where's the age at? Here we go. 30, 24. He's 24. This is typically around the age discrepancy where I'd say Cameron Simon is too young to just be on the level of Wellmaker, but Wellmaker is barely getting into the UFC, and I don't know if he has that. Even though he has years on him, I don't know if those years are really going to play into his favor. Like, he's 30 and he's just getting into the UFC. I'd say Cameron Simon just has that little edge on him. That little, he trains with Dricus Duplessis. He has that aura kind of going into his fight. Wellmaker's been out for like a year and a half. He hasn't fought in a really long time. So I'm going Cameron Simon by a 30-27 schooling over Wellmaker. And I know a lot of people are saying Wellmaker's pretty huge, but I mean, right next to each other in the ceremonial weigh-ins, I mean, there was hardly a height discrepancy, dude. They were virtually the same size, build-wise and height-wise. Like, there was nothing. Like, Wellmaker didn't have an overwhelming presence over Cameron Simon. It was virtually identical. So I'm going Cameron Simon 30-27 schooling. Take him to school. On to the next. Damon Blackshear versus Anta Helegilhili. I'm going Damon Blackshear. I'm not going to get too deep into this one. I've never watched an Anta Helegi fight. Maybe I have, but if I have, I do not remember it whatsoever. Who was his last fight? Against Rodriguez. And then before that, who? Yeah, bro. I don't know. Against Gutierrez, cool, bro. And then against Angeliger, whoa, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. These guys are just bums. Like, if the biggest name you have on your record is uh whatever that fucking guy's name is, Chris Gutierrez, then yeah, you're kind of cooked. If that's your biggest win, if that's your biggest fight you lost, I'm sorry. I'll choose Damon Blackshear to get a win over you. Uh, and Damon Blackshear had some. He was, yeah, this height right here. There was a pretty big difference when they were standing next to each other in the ceremonial weigh-ins. There was a pretty vast difference. Uh, the presence that just Blackshear had over. What do I call this guy, dude? The fucking Chinaman. Fuck saying his name, and also his record is shit. 17-9. Like, I know Damon's isn't that much better with 16-7, but you're 17-9-2, bro. In my opinion, you're damn near 17-11. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not, but that's just I'm not. Uh, nah, that ain't it. And people from China typically have a track record of not being too good grapplers or wrestlers. And Damon Blackshear, that seems to be his bread and butter, where he would want the fight to take place. But with this height and reach advantage, I would say he is pretty comfortable on the feet, pretty comfortable keeping it standing, just poking from a distance, uh, using his size and range, just kind of dictate where the fight takes place, uh, and just kind of make him play into his game. Fade in, fade out, pretty simple stuff. Uh, so I would go Blackshear by, I'd say second round rear naked choke. I could see Damon Blackshear dropping him with some nice crispy combinations, or maybe just a simple 1-2. Maybe he learned from his own mistakes. Maybe a simple 1-2 down the middle, or a barrage of punches up against the fence that make Angel cover up. Maybe he takes a knee. Damon Blackshear jumps over, takes his back after a quick scramble, ends up with a rear naked choke and finishes him off. So I go second round Damon Blackshear by rear naked choke. And then Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Uh, I see some people picking John Castaneda. I'm not gonna blame you. Chris Gutierrez did just go to a extremely boring, boring, like boring doesn't can't even begin to describe his performance against Song Yadong. That was so lackluster. Quang Lee. Oh, was this against the Macau card where like they just brought in a whole bunch of random? No. Tiber versus Spivak. Oh, Quang Lee. Sure, dude. Um, I don't know, dude. This is just one of those fights, bro. 4-3, lost to Daniel Marcos. Not gonna blame you. I feel like that was that Daniel Marcos' last fight, because I feel like Daniel Marcos' last fight, oh, it was against Adrian Yanez. I was gonna say I felt like Daniel Marcos' last fight was not a robbery per se, but it was fucking close. It was real close. That's pretty impressive. Uh, Simon Oliveira. Uh, I don't know. I'll go Chris Gutierrez. Why not? I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Uh, Sorry guys, these are just the fights I don't give a fuck about whatsoever. Evan Elder versus sorry, I keep on switching between Tapology and the UFC's page. I'll try and stick to one from now on. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Never heard of either of these guys. It's one of their debut. Evan Elder, I'm assuming he's like 1-0 in the UFC. Virtually the same fighter. Um, no statistics. Gage Young just looks like he's gonna lose. Evan Elder by 29-28 decision. Match now versus Jimmy Flick. I'm not picking Jimmy Flick to win a fight. I just think he's a little too weak in the clinch. His scrambles. I feel like he is a wrestler. He is a grappler by nature because it doesn't look like he can throw powerful shots or really shots at all. I feel like he looked pretty lost on the feet. Now, Match now, while he doesn't have a chin, he does seem sundum, how do you say, fundamentally sound enough to win exchanges over Jimmy Flick on the feet. His scrambles, maybe not. Maybe Jimmy Flick will do a great job controlling him on the ground. This is how I'm imagining the fight to play off. Match now, winning exchanges on the feet, tagging Jimmy Flick up, making his head snap back a little bit. Maybe he hurts him to the body at one point. But Jimmy Flick able to wrangle Match now to the floor, and maybe he's able to submit him. Maybe he's able to submit him. But I feel like Match now will be strong enough to just kind of force his way out of bad positions. Maybe not even fucking technique it out. Just literally just fucking Derek Lewis that shit and just kind of get up. So I'll go Match now 30-27 over Jimmy Flick. Maybe Jimmy Flick has a moment of success on the ground where it looks like he's about to get Matt Schnell in a rear naked choke, but I think Matt Schnell can defend properly, get back to his feet, and get back to what he was doing and tagging up Jimmy Flick, snapping his head back. So Matt Schnell, 30-27, 29-28. On to the main card. Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz looks like he's on sauce. Andre Muniz looks fucking yoked. I know there's a 1 inch difference, but boy, I'm telling you, it ain't 1 inch. Weight 202 versus 195. Is this what they weigh in? Bro, what? Weigh-in result 185, 185. What are these fucking like weigh-in? Sorry, I'm fucking ruining my future video. Fucking hell. I'll go Ikram Askarov. Andre Muniz isn't a slouch, by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think he's a little older. Wait. How old? How old is Ikram? Okay, what the fuck? I thought that's 37. I was about to say, what the fuck? Wait, he's the favorite? I'm getting ahead of myself. So, 5 losses by TKO. You're losing to Paul Craig by ground and pound. Whoa. Andre Muniz. Sneaky record. Jung Young Park split decision. Eric Anders, Ronaldo Souza. Now these names don't really mean anything to me, but Renica choke loss by Brendan Allen, not bad. Ground and pound TKO by Paul Craig. I mean, fuck. That's embarrassing. That's really embarrassing, actually. Was that his first fight at middleweight? I believe. Yeah. Honestly, he just lost 5 times by KO. I think a heavy-handed hitter like Ikram Aliskerov, who is nasty on the feet. Like, he's very nasty on the feet. He has some good combos. He can read people perfectly. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of water. Like, he reads people perfectly on the feet. He knows what to do. Hold on, take another sip of water. Who is it that he had a... Was it Warley Alves? Damn, I guess it was. Because it definitely wasn't Phil Hawes. Man, it's so sad to see a fighter just like career end over just not having a chin. But his KO over Warley Alves was disgusting. It was so nasty. Wait, that was the... Was it against Warley Alves? guess so, but I just remember him having like a nasty head kick over something. I guess that was over Warley. I don't know, but he has good combos. He knows how to set shit up, and I think Andre Muniz, somebody who's lost 5 times by KO, is gonna feel the steam and power of Ikram Alaskarov, who does have just heavy heat in his hand. So I'll go Ikram Alaskarov. Uh, Second round KO. Honestly, no. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm sensing not a finish from Ikram. And if it is a finish, I think it'll be in the second or third. I don't think he's gonna get him out of there in the first. I think that'll be a tall order, but I feel like Andre Muniz will be fundamentally sound enough to not get finished in the first. Uh, Now let's fuck that. Never mind. Ikram Alaskarov, second or third round TKO or 29-28. RudeBoy Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. I'm going Randy Brown. This is an extremely tough fight. Nicholas Dalby is one of those people who just seem to be getting better with age. We've just seen him kind of prosper as of recently, even though he did lose to Renat Fakretinov. A win over Gabriel Bonfim, taking his O. Muslim Salikov, that's an amazing win. Warley Alves. This was before he went into middleweight. Split decision, not too well. Claudio Silva, Tim Means, kind of gross. Daniel Rodriguez, at least he has these wins. You don't want to see him going to a split decision with Daniel Rodriguez or a loss. Tim Means lost. That is gross, though. Renat Fakretinov split decision. That is kind of... Bro, when was the last time that we seen Renat? I feel like it's been so fucking... Carlos Leal, where he lost. I remember that. Carlos Leal. Uh, uh, Damn, this one's tough. Because Nicholas Dalby is really fucking good. He's really good. But he's fucking 40. And at this point, I think this is the time where we have to admit that age will take a toll on him. I think he will be slower. Maybe he'll be able to muscle around Randy Brown, who is a longer, lankier guy. Like we see here, he has 5 inches of height, so his muscles won't be as dense. He'll be not easier to control per se, but I think if Nicholas Dalby gets him on the ground, he will be able to control him easier or have a easier time attempting to. I feel like getting Randy Brown to the floor, though, that's going to be the issue. That's where the problems will arise for Nicholas Dalby. I feel like Randy Brown will do a good job at throwing a knees to the body or knees up top while Nicholas Dalby is shooting. Randy Brown also has nasty body shots. Like against Brian Battle, he just kept ripping him. He'd throw one to kind of the sternum, and then he'd whip a left hook right to the gut of Brian Battle. Now, obviously, Brian Battle being a fucking fat ass coming overweight, it didn't really affect them all too much. But I think over somebody who is actually professional, somebody who makes weight, I feel like a Nicholas Dalby will feel the full effect of that, especially being 40. Maybe he's dinged up a little bit from fucking training camp. It's just that old age to him. His back hurts when he gets up in the morning. His right knee is starting to bug him every time he goes down those steps. He has to Kamaru Usman, and maybe he has to backpedal down those steps. Walk backwards. I think Randy Brown will be able to come in there and stomp the legs of Nicholas Dalby, or just I feel like we're gonna see a master class of striking from Randy Brown. I feel like this is gonna be one of those fights where we really see Randy Brown come into his own and just have somebody who's perfect, so that he can showcase every single one of his tools that he's been learning over these past few years in the UFC. Dude is like 13-6 in the UFC. That's wicked experience. I just feel like finally he'll get his opportunity to really show how deep his tool bag is and how impressive his striking is. So I'll go Randy Brown, 30-27. honestly, maybe 30-26. I feel like I could see Randy Brown getting a 10-8 in there. So yeah, Randy Brown, 30-26. Bold prediction from me. Fuck, my other brother just got here. Now we go on to Michel Pereira versus Abu Smagomedov. Guys, Michel Pereira's best win is Ihor Potiera, where he illegally kneed him in the face while he was on the ground. Now, I don't think that has really anything to do with the finishing process that he had over Ihor Potiera, but I mean, it had to be mentioned. But his resume is just so weak. Like, he went on a streak against bums. Mikael Oleajashuk, dude was on like a, how long was his loss streak, bro? Oh, it was only 3. It wasn't that bad. But that boy's losing to Kevin Holland. You know what I'm saying? Dustin Jacoby. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't think Abus Magomedov is all that. But I think he's better than the Ehors, than the Andre Petrowskis, and the fucking, Nico Prices, Chaos Williams, Andre Fialho, Santiago Panza. I feel like he's an Abus. I feel like his presence is there. I feel like he has a presence that Ihor didn't have. A slow, plotty Ihor. Yeah, I just feel like Abus is a proper middleweight. And I feel like we know what happens when what's this fucker's name? We know what happens when Pereira goes up fucking against a proper middleweight. He just gets embarrassed for 25 minutes and finished in the 5th round. Like, we just know what happens. So I'll go Abus, who took a round off Sean Strickland. Yes, he did gas completely. But Abus just finished Bruno Ferreira. Come on. That's a fucking great win. That is an amazing win. A fucking arm triangle over Bruno Ferreira. Come on, bro. Yes, he lost to Kyle. He went over Warley. We don't really rate those wins, but dude, Bruno Ferreira win. That's impressive. I rate that shit. No fucking doubt. I rate that shit. So I think Abus Magomedov gets it done with a, first round knockout. I think he gets it done. How many, oh, sorry about that. My laptop is so fucking cooked, bro. 14 wins. How many in the first round? 12 in the first round. Let me speed this up. But yeah, I think Abus Magomedov first round TKO or submission, whatever he fucking wants, really. I just don't think Michel Pereira kind of got clout from beating up bums. I don't really appreciate that. So yeah, Abus Magomedov first round KO. I'll go KO over sub. I'll go sub. Damn. I'll go sub. First round sub. Maybe another arm triangle, to be honest. Giga Chikadze. On to the next. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. I see Giga Chikadze is a underdog. David Onama coming from lightweight to featherweight, dropping down in weight. And I just feel like, lighter man skill, bro. Plain and simple. The dude took Roberto Romero to a unanimous decision who was, it was his debut. Jonathan Pierce. Wait. Oh, so he was forced to move up and now he's going back down. Okay. Nate Landwehr lost. Garrett Armfield, Gabriel Benitez, Mason. I don't know. None of these names are fucking impressive at all. None of these wins are impressive at all. He's coming back down to featherweight. He was here once before. Missed weight, went up. But, bro, Giga Chikadze just had an absolute scrap with Arnold Allen. Who Arnold Allen had an absolute fucking great fight with Movsar Evloev. Like, why are we counting out Giga? Is it because he's old? Let's see how old he is. 36. Okay, I can see why. He's 36. You know, maybe he don't got it like that. You know, he just tore his groin. You know, maybe people are worried about David Onama being a fucking freak grappler and taking Giga down. But I just think Giga got this one in the bag. I think his striking is nasty, even though we've seen him got the beats put on by Calvin Kattar. I mean, you know, Giga also had great striking of his own in that fight. So I feel pretty confident in Giga getting this one done. Honestly, I feel like Giga could get a first round knockout over this guy. So that's why I'll go for it. Like Giga Chikadze. Maybe a first. I could really just see it like snapping his head back. So maybe just a first round, kind of like the, you know, that DJ, you know, that Dustin Jacoby versus Victor Petrino, you know, type KO, you know, that Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal type KO, you know, follows up with the left, boom, or you know, pause the hand down with the left and then boom, right down the middle. Yeah, I think Giga could get it done. Or maybe a knee, you know, knee up the middle, plain and simple, gets David Onama out of there. On to the next. Anthony Smith versus Mingyang Zhang. Absolutely disgusting from the fucking UFC matchmakers, bro. This is actually horrible. Like, why would you do your commentator like this? Your fucking analyst guy, you know, he's gonna have to, you know, in a few weeks, we're gonna see him up there, posted up with fucking Wonder Boy, you know, talking about this loss, you know, it's gonna be fucking brutal. But yeah, there's not much to say about this one, guys. We are going to watch the death of Anthony Smith at the hands of Mingyang Zhang. And it's gonna be sad to see, but I don't think Anthony Smith is gonna get a retarded guillotine over Mingyang Zhang, right? Mingyang Zhang's not going to. I just dropped my laptop, and I'm hoping I'm able to put them together. I'm a pretty bad editor, but hopefully I could get it done. But Anthony Smith versus Mingyang Zhang. Yeah, I just think Mingyang Zhang is going to officially retire Anthony Smith. Actually put him out with the proper KO, not no TKO. I don't think Mingyang Zhang's dumb enough to shoot into a takedown and put his head right into a fucking guillotine. I don't think Mingyang Zhang's that dumb. Yes, he has a dumb block head. Like he does have a stupid block head, but I mean, I think he's gonna be able to withstand anything Anthony Smith has. Because at the end of the day, really, Anthony Smith doesn't really have anything to give Mingyang Zhang that Mingyang Zhang can't take. So I'm going, you know, as most people are, Mingyang Zhang. It's brutal first round knockout. Brutal. So yeah. GG, Anthony Smith. Have fun at the commentary desk. On to the main event of Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. You know, Ian, or the future Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos the Nightmare Prates. Guys, come on. I'm a fucking Fighting Nerds Glazer. I literally have 2 shirts of them. People are counting out Prates, especially motherfuckers like, dude. Motherfuckers like Kenny Okoye, dude. Absolutely glazing Machado. Talking about Machado's wrestling is fucking underrated, dude. His fucking rating, his fucking grappling, his wrestling, his footwork, his IQ is just leagues better than Carlos Prates. Bro, their come up is identical. Identical. What does Ian Garry have over Carlos Prates? A lackluster win over Jeff Neal? Sorry, bro. I don't rate that shit. What else? Bro, like, dude, he has nothing. Michael Page, where he was fucking holding on for dear life for 3 rounds, don't rate that shit. Jeff Neal, don't rate that shit. Split decision as well, bro. Like, Neil Magny, don't rate that shit. Daniel Rodriguez, I don't rate it. Kanong Song, don't rate it. Gabe Green, don't rate it. Darius Weeks, Jordan Williams, don't rate it. What are we talking about? Yeah, guys, I fucking lost to Shavkat. Did you guys see what I did to Shavkat? The fucking nerves on Ian to talk about Shavkat like he beat him. Oh my gosh, bro. You gotta respect the delusion, though. But look, Neil Magny, he did what you're supposed to do to Neil Magny. He did what you're actually supposed to. You're not supposed to take Neil Magny to a fucking 3-round decision, bro. Don't care if it's impressive or not. You're not supposed to do that. Li Jingliang, come on, did what he's supposed to do. Li Jingliang was coming off of like a 2-year layoff, off of like a fucking spinal cord injury. Uh, it is what it is. Charles Radke, though, come on, bro. Trevin Giles, come on, bro. Like, these are sneaky, obviously these guys aren't the cream of the crop, but I think all of these guys are better than Daniel Rodriguez. Even though Li Jingliang did technically lose to Daniel Rodriguez, if you watch the fight, you know he didn't lose. If you watch the fight, you know he didn't lose. I just think all these guys are better than Daniel Rodriguez, Song Kanan, Maybe not Song Kanan, but I just think people are glazing Garry. Like, he's had a very easy ascension to being where he's at. A Michael Page who only has a win over who only at the time only had a win over Kevin Holland. Like, y'all rating that shit? Sorry, bro, I'm not. He lost to Shavkat. GG, bro. Shavkat looked ass in that fight. Shavkat looked fucking dog shit in that fight. And I get it. That was because Ian made him look dog shit. But I don't know, bro. I'm not rating that shit. And he lost, too. Like, come on. I just think he doesn't have... He's a good striker. Good distance control. Good footwork. Good IQ. He has everything. He's a full package. But he doesn't have the finishing potential like a Carlos Prates. Bro has 3 wins in the first round. Or I should say 4 wins. 4 wins, bro. 4 wins in the first round. Carlos Prates is making light work of these dudes. Ian Garry's taking these guys to decision. He's taking Jeff Neal to decision. He's taking Neil Magny to decision. Cool, you head kicked a fat Mexican in Daniel Rodriguez, bro. Don't rate that shit. Gabe Green, decision. Darius Weeks, decision. Song Kanan almost went to decision too before he landed some good shots at the end. Like, that was impressive for sure, but like, if you put Carlos Prates up against these guys, bro, he's finishing them. Jeff Neal, that's Carlos Prates. That would have been Carlos Prates' toughest fight. I would have picked Carlos Prates, but Jeff Neal would have given him problems for without a doubt. But Neil Magny, bro, you're taking Neil, and he's saying Ian Garry's talking about Neil Magny like he took his soul, bro. Prates first round, Morales first round, Gilbert Burns first round, Shavkat second round. Come on, bro. Like, dude's on the level of Michael Chiesa right here. Ain't nobody rating that shit, dude. Nobody's rating that. Sorry, bro. But sorry, not sorry. But I'm not gonna glaze Ian Garry like all these other fucking YouTube fight analysts. I'm going Carlos Prates with the sheer finishing potential that Ian Machado Garry has lacked in all of his recent fights. Can I fucking just... Never mind, bro. I'm going with Carlos Prates as he has the finishing potential. 76 of his wins come by KO. Significant strikes landed per minute. A little bit lower than Ian Garry's, but he has all the more sting. Significant strikes, more, but nothing too much. Damn near evens. Absorbed per minute, Carlos Prates is up on that. Not what you want to see. Takedown accuracy. He's only shot 1 takedown and he got it. Takedown defense, 91%. Ian Machado Garry isn't a hyped up grappler like everybody is saying. He's a striker at core. He ran from the striking against MVP, which was the smart thing to do. I'm not going to give him shit for that, but submission average, bro, I swear, that was his submission, his rear naked choke against Shavkat was like the only one he's ever went for his entire UFC career. I'm not rating that shit. I'm going Carlos Prates. Second round KO. I think he fucking bounces Ian Garry's pea head off the fucking canvas. I'm going Carlos Prates, and I think it's going to be a real embarrassing showcase for Garry after he talked all that hot shit. But I can appreciate the talking hot shit. I mean, I don't want this to be a respect fest, I don't want this shit to be, oh yeah, I respect my opponent and I can't see what they do this Saturday, man. I'm really excited. Nah, I like when fighters talk shit. I think it's great. I think it's great for business. But I think Carlos Prates is the wrong guy to talk it to. Carlos Prates, second round KO. And I can't wait. This Saturday, uh, April 26th, where I'm at 3 o'clock. Tune in, bro. This shit's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a great card. If you don't watch and you watch the video, I heavily advise you to actually tune in. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama, banger. Anthony Smith, banger. Garry versus Prates, banger. Pereira versus Magomedov, banger. Brown versus Dalby, banger. Aliscaro versus Muniz, banger. Schnell versus Flick, I think that could be really interesting. I feel like people aren't really paying attention to that one, but that one could get real interesting. Uh, these ones are slouches. Wellmaker versus Simon. I can't believe this one's so far down. Can't believe it's beneath Blackshear and Haligi. Gutierrez versus Castaneda. I feel like this fight could low-key be the prelim headliner. But thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Tune into my next video, which give you a little sneak peek. Give you a little sneak peek on what it's about. Give you a little sneak peek on what it's about. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you. I'll catch you on the next one.